Hello and welcome to the old Fliers. John Gillespie Maguire, a 19-year-old World War II fighter pilot stationed in England during World War II, wrote a letter to his parents on September 3, 1941. Nothing unusual about a young man doing that. What is unusual is that this letter and the enclosed poem, High Flight, are now preserved in the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. Let us take a look at this man. John Magee was born in 1922 in Shanghai to an American father and a British mother serving there as missionaries. Magee began his education at the American school in Nanking in China in 1929, moving to England with his mother in 1931. From 1935 to 1939, he attended rugby school where he developed an ambition to become a poet. He was inspired by a former student, the poet Rupert Brooke. Brooke had won the school's poetry prize 34 years prior to Magee. Magee's own prize-winning poem, Sonnet to Rupert Brooke, centred upon the burial of Brooke's body in an olive grove on the Greek island of Skyros. Brooke had sailed with the British Mediterranean force to Egypt en route to Gallipoli in 1915, but died from an infected mosquito bite. Magee wrote, "We laid him in a cool and shadowed grove one evening in the dreamy scent of time, where leaves were green and whispered high above, a grave as humble as it was sublime. There, dreaming in the fading depths of light, the hands that thrilled to touch a woman's hair, brown eyes that loved the day and looked on night, a soul that found at last its answered prayer. There daylight as a dust slips through the trees and drifting gilds the fern around his grave, where even now perhaps the evening breeze steals shyly past the tomb of him who gave new sight to blinded eyes, who sometimes wept, a short time dearly loved, and after slept." In 1939, Magee visited the United States but was unable to return to England due to the outbreak of World War II. He completed schooling at Avon Old Schools Farm, maintaining an active social life. When his father remonstrated with him for his late-night escapades, Magee Jr. replied, "My generation does not expect to live long, and we want to enjoy ourselves while we may." After discussions with his parents, he decided to go to Canada to join the Royal Canadian Air Force, learning to fly, and then being sent to Britain. In October 1940, after joining, he was posted to No. 9 Elementary Flying Training School. There he soloed after 6 hours dual instruction, when the average person was taking twice that. He passed his wings test in Ottawa in June 1941. As a pilot officer, he was sent to the United Kingdom, where on arrival he was posted to No. 53 Operational Training Unit near London, flying Spitfires. At Landau, he flew a Spitfire to 33,000 feet, by far the highest flight to that date. It is this flight that is accepted as having inspired him to poetic thoughts. On the 8th of November 1941, he took part in a sortie to occupied France, escorting bombers attacking railway workshops at Lille. 12 aeroplanes from No. 412 Squadron crossed the hostile coast east of Dunkirk, encountering flak, after which they were attacked by Luftwaffe fighters. Of Magee's 4-ship section that entered the engagement, only he survived. All the others were shot down and killed in action by the leading German ace Joachim Munchenberg. This was to be Magee's only engagement with the Luftwaffe during the World War. On the 11th of December 1941, in his 10th week of active service, Magee took off in the late morning with other members of No. 412 Squadron to practice air fighting tactics. Magee descended at high speed through cloud, emerging at 1400 feet and colliding with an airspeed Oxford trainer flown by 19-year-old Ernest Aubrey Griffin. Both pilots died. This tragic event was just 3 months after Magee had posted that letter and poem to his parents. Magee was buried in the graveyard of Holy Cross Church in the village of Scopwick in Lincolnshire, and upon the gravestone is engraved the first and last lines from his poem High Flight. This poem is an anthem to all pilots of the elation experienced in flinging off the surly bonds of earth. Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter's silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds, and done 100 things you have not dreamed of, wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air, up the long delirious burning blue. I've topped the wind-swept heights with easy grace where never lark nor ever eagle flew, and while with silent lifting mind I've trod the high untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God. Collections of John Magee's poems have been published, my favourite being Per Adieu, dedicated to the Battle of Britain pilots. They that have climbed the white mists of the morning, they that have soared before the world's awake, to herald up their foemen to them, scorning the thin dawn's rest their weary folk might take. Some that have left other mouths to tell the story of high blue battle, quite young limbs that bled, how they had thundered up the clouds to glory, or fallen to an English field stained red. Because my faltering feet would fail, I find them, laughing beside me, steadying the hand that seeks their deadly courage, yet behind them the cold light dies in that once brilliant land. Do these who help the quickened pulse run slowly, whose stern remembered image cools the brow, till the far dawn of victory know only night's darkness and Valhalla's silence now. John Magee Jr. was a remarkable young man, and his loss a testament to the futility of war. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the poems. Comments welcome. Please like and subscribe to encourage new content.